Let me ask you a question. Do you have a great idea, but you're not sure what to do next? Are you ready to create something, but you're also scared of failure? Well, stay tuned, because you do not want to miss this animated summary of Poke the Box by Seth Godin. Let's get right into it. Lesson 1. What is poking the box? Seth tells us about a toy his uncle made called a buzzer box. The box contained a couple of switches, some lights, and a few other controls. If you flipped one switch, a light went on. If you flipped two switches, a buzzer sounded. The device contained a lot of switches and toggles that created a variety of responses, depending on how you interacted with the box. It was a kind of do this thing and get that result toy. Seth tells us that a kid would see the buzzer box and immediately start poking it, trying to figure out what happens if you do this or you do that. Curious people poke the box. Essentially, Seth tells us that we need to get out there, be curious, and poke the box. Now, let's move on to Lesson 2. Be an initiator. Not that long ago, money, contacts, and organizational might were the foundation of the economy. Back then, it was really hard to get an idea off the ground. Today, however, in the connected economy, initiative is the most important business asset. Seth explains the critical importance of initiative through 3 separate ideas: the 7th imperative, the elements of production, and the kinds of capital. Let's start with the 7th imperative. Here are the first 6 imperatives. Number 1, be aware of the market, of opportunities, of who you are. Number 2, be educated so that you can understand what's around you. Number 3, be connected so you can be trusted as you engage. Number 4, be consistent so the system knows what to expect from you. Number 5, build an asset so you have something to sell. Number 6, be productive so you can be well priced. Now, here's the most critical imperative. Number 7, have the guts and the heart and the passion to ship. The reality is that there are thousands of books and memos on the first 6 imperatives. However, with the 7th imperative, the most important imperative, you're pretty much left to figure it out on your own. Next, let's move on to what Seth calls the elements of production. Here's what we need to make something happen in the business world. First, we need an idea. Second, we need people to work on it. Third, we need a place to build or organize it. Fourth, we need raw materials. Fifth, we need distribution. Sixth, we need money. Seventh, we need marketing. And last but not least, 8th, we need someone to say go. We need an initiator. Even if you have the first 7 boxes checked, if no one says go, the project is a dud. If no one insists, pushes, creates, persuades, and launches, then there's nothing. It's all wasted. Now, let's end our discussion of initiators with the kinds of capital. So, what do we mean when we say the kinds of capital? Think about it like this. What can you invest? Or what can your company invest? Here's a list of the different kinds of capital. Number 1, financial capital. This is money in the bank that can be put to work on a project or an investment. Number 2, network capital. This is the people you know, the connections you make, and the retailers and systems you can plug into. Number 3, intellectual capital. This is smarts, software systems, and access to people with insight. Number 4, physical capital. This includes things like plants, machinery, tools, and trucks. Number 5, prestige capital. This is your reputation, or you can think of it as your brand value. Now, As with the prior lists, we've saved the best for last. The most important kind of capital is, number 6, instigation capital. This is the desire to move forward. This is the ability and the courage to say yes. That's it for Lesson 2. Let's move on to Lesson 3. Failure leads to success. To adopt a winning mentality, to truly be an initiator, we have to get comfortable with failure and with getting things wrong. Seth teaches us that wrong often leads to right. Take Starbucks, for example. It started off wrong. The company initially sold coffee beans, tea leaves, and drip coffee. Starbucks wasn't a success until Howard Schultz took an inspirational trip to Italy and switched the focus of the company to an experience, to espresso, and to handcrafted drinks. However, what if Jerry Baldwin and the other original founders had been too afraid to initiate? What if they never built the original wrong Starbucks? The old industrial factory model placed a premium on not getting things wrong. Starting was not valued because it was not necessary. In fact, those who tried things, those who got things wrong, were stifled. However, today, in the networked economy, things are different. Companies and people must start things and evolve. Otherwise, they get left behind. You can always adjust and turn a wrong into a right, but if you never start, you don't have a chance. Seth explains this idea using a dandelion. The dandelion spreads seeds everywhere. Many, even most of the dandelion seeds end up on pavement and unfertile ground. However, some of the seeds land in good dirt and sprout. Thus, the dandelion is successful. In the same way, we need to put our ideas into the world without being too concerned about what portion might fail. Some will make it, and that's what matters. Let's move on to Lesson 4. Start something and ship it. Seth tells us that 2 things are needed to get your ideas out into the world. First, you need to start. Then, you need to ship. Oftentimes, people fail to get their ideas into the world because they fall into one of the 2 following categories: hypogo and hypergo. Hypogo people understart. They hesitate because they are waiting for the right time. They want everything to be perfect. They never get started. Hypergo people overstart. They start too many things without following through because they always have brilliant new ideas. They move on to the next thing before finishing the last thing. Both hypogo and hypergo folks are afraid of actually shipping. They're equally afraid to commit to the process. Thus, although they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, they're equally ineffective. We must find a balance. Seth tells us this: it's only in the center where we resonate with the market and get it right that we can produce effectively. Let's move on to the final lesson. Lesson 5. Pick yourself. The old industrial economy has brainwashed us to believe that we have no power. This old model that dominated for decades taught us to keep our heads down and keep working until someone, a boss or an investor or someone with power, picks us. Seth tells us to stop waiting to be picked. The pick-me mentality acknowledges the power of the system. It gives someone else the responsibility of initiating. It shifts the blame from us to the person or persons with power. After all, if I didn't get picked, it's their fault, not mine. Seth advises us, better yet, he commands us to reject the tyranny of waiting to be picked. Instead, he insists that we pick ourselves. Here's a beautiful quote from Seth that I keep on my desk. It goes like this: please stop waiting for a map. We reward those who draw maps, not those who follow them. So, I leave you with this message. It's your turn. Start now. Draw a map. Now, you're a person who loves to learn, am I right? Well, YouTube has a video for you right here. So keep on learning, and please smash like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time right here on Mentally Fit.